Hello everybody, welcome to Little Rusty Bucket. Subscribe to the channel and drop a like on this video. We're trying to hit 20k subscribers, so it would be much appreciated. We're back with our post-game reactions here for the play-in day 2. We have the Chicago Bulls facing off with the Miami Heat, with Miami winning 109-90. I did not have high expectations for this game, really, for either team, obviously with a 9-10 matchup, and the play-in is just a substantially less interesting or worthwhile experience when it's the Eastern Conference rather than the Western Conference. In the West, you'll actually get good NBA teams like the Golden State Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies facing off. But here you get a Heat versus Bulls matchup where both teams are below 500. I think the Miami Heat won 37 games this year, but when push came to shove, they proved to be the better team in between the two of them. And frankly, as a Chicago Bulls fan, I was kind of rooting against them in this game because A, I don't want them to get overconfident in this core and overcommit to it. And B, I would like to see them get a lottery pick. So this is the way that happens. So they're finally eliminated from playoff contention. I'm really tired of the Bulls doing this thing where they're just good enough to be in the play-in, and then they do better than the other terrible teams in the play-in in the Eastern Conference, and then they get their ass kicked by a really, really good team at the top of the conference. It's just an annoying cycle, and it's just as annoying as the cycle of the Bulls continuing to choose to build around players who are just not really worth building around to the extent that they are. And we've had a big back and forth all year about Josh Giddey, and I would say in this game, he definitely failed to live up to his expectations and under the pressure of a playoff setting, because that was something that I said a lot, was that Josh Giddey's play will be a lot different in a playoff context than in a regular season one. Obviously, the play-in isn't quite the playoffs, and the Miami Heat are nowhere near a super impressive, competitive team. However, their defense was so good and so locked in this game that when you have a team that's trying as hard as they are on that end of the floor with a bunch of guys who are capable, well, you're going to get missing a lot of threes. You're also going to get missing a ton of floaters. I think Josh Giddey missed all but 1 or 2 floaters that he attempted in this game, and he probably took like 8 to 10 of them. Overall, he shot 9 for 21 from the field and 2 for 7 from 3, getting 25 points and 10 rebounds. Only 4 assists with 3 turnovers and 4 fouls. Also, not a good game from Coby White. Far worse, even, where he went 5 for 20 from the field. I think all 3 of the 3-pointers he hit were in transition, but basically everything else that he took did not go in. 17 points on 20 shots is not pretty. He also had 7 turnovers with 5 assists. The Bulls kept doing this thing where they were like loosely in it. Like after the first quarter, there was a buzzer beating 3 by Buzelis that made it just an 11-point game after they were down 20 for a portion of the quarter. And then they got their ass kicked in the second quarter. And then in the third quarter, they made it back to like a 12 to 13, 14-point game. And then in the fourth quarter, once again, they just were not nearly capable enough. They only scored 16 points in total in that fourth quarter. And the offense was a struggle the whole way through. I mean, look at the assists here. We have 33 made field goals. Only 15 of them were assisted. And you contrast that to Miami, who they had 41 made field goals and they had 30 assists. 3/4 of their buckets were assisted. And for the Chicago Bulls, not even half of them were. So that says a lot about the difference in philosophies between these teams, but also it was a lot about Miami's offensive game plan, because the Chicago Bulls are actually, it's not even a philosophy thing. The Chicago Bulls are a high assist team in the ranking. I believe since the trade deadline, they've been one of the 5 or 10 highest assists per game teams in the league. However, Miami's defense really slowed Chicago's pace. The only time they looked anything like themselves is when they were getting in transition, which I think the Chicago Bulls did a very good job of, because they are one of the best, playing the passing lane teams in the league. They take advantage of their youth and try to run the fast break as much as possible. And they also get up 3-pointers like crazy, but they ended up going 10 for 37 in this game. So just nothing was really working on the offensive end. And while Miami is not an impressive offensive team by any means, the Bulls did not do much to get in their way. First of all, the 3-point shooting was way better for them. They hit 13 of 35 attempts, which is 37%. They also had a bunch of really easy attempts at the rim. I feel like Kel'el Ware, I think all 3 of his baskets were just easy ass attempts at the basket because the Bulls just completely left him wide open. Andrew Wiggins got a backdoor layup or two. I know Haywood Highsmith got one. Just a bunch of Tyler Hero, some very wide open drives. Just a lot of completely leaving the paint wide open out of nowhere. Tyler Hero with 38 points in this one, shot 13 for 19 from the field, 3 for 7 from outside. I'm not even sure what the true shooting percentage on that is, but I know it's damn good because 38 on 19 field goal attempts and only 10 free throw attempts is quite something. He also hit 9 of 10 of those free throws. So uh, I'm glad that this happened. The Chicago Bulls cannot disappoint me. In order for the Bulls to disappoint me, I would have to have any level of expectation or care for the current existence on this roster. And I want to make this very clear to Chicago Bulls fans because this has been a point of contention, which I understand. If you have been enjoying this run from the Bulls recently, if you're that, Kenny kind of broke this down to like a type A or type B NBA fan, like guy who really cares about the long term, the nerdy stuff, the cap sheet, what you're investing in, guys, who you're drafting, draft capital in the future, all that stuff. And then you just have someone who's like, I care about how good the Bulls are playing this week. And I respect that. I commend that. I really do wish I could enjoy the game in the way that you do because that certainly is rewarded with the way the Chicago Bulls play because they will have stretches where they are actually genuinely a very good team. And ironically, the Bulls have made a lot of changes to their offense this year with their new personnel. That's something I'd been wanting to see for a long time. Faster paced, more playmaking, more three-point shooting. The Bulls are one of the most high-volume three-point shooting teams in the league, but I just can't get behind another okay team. I can't do it. I've been getting behind okay teams, trying to get my hopes up for just the longest time now, and I would really rather this get nipped in the bud. I don't think that this game alone is going to make the Bulls de-invest in their future that they've already been pretty committed to, but at the very least, I think it makes them a little bit more hesitant with it, and it makes it a little bit more plausible that eventually AK could get the fuck out of that front office, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be happening anytime soon. But not disappointed. If anything, I wanted this because I'm just tired of getting strung along. I've been too worn down, too beaten down, and I'm okay if that makes me a bad fan. I don't mind being a bad fan. I still love the league. I can still do my job effectively while not being invested in the Chicago Bulls. And that's basically where I am at this point. Now, as for the Miami Heat, if we want to do a quick projection to the Eastern Conference second round of the play-in, who will win, the Heat or the Hawks? Who gets the pleasure of getting the absolute shit kicked out of them by the Cleveland Cavaliers? I'm going to go with the Miami Heat. I think Miami is the more well-rounded team, and Atlanta is a disaster, and Trae Young is pretty much solo squatting. Tyler Hero in this game did a lot of carrying, for sure, on the offensive end of the floor, but I would say they have more help at least. So, yeah, we're getting now to the end where we do our ranking of how enjoyable these games are. We are going to be doing a tier list. We haven't put the graphic together yet, so you're not going to see it in this one, but hopefully very soon. Here, if you're just curious of the scale, an S tier is great, like all-time classic. A is pretty good. B is worth watching, pretty good. C is whatever, and F, who gives a shit? Fuck that. I would probably put this in a C. It's a fine game. Like, I do think the Bulls, to give them one piece of credit, the Chicago Bulls game, like their actual highlights from this game are very good. There were a lot of really cool plays that the Bulls pulled off in this one. Unfortunately, not a good offense overall, but a couple of nice plays, and the Heat played well, but I'm not going to remember this. I enjoyed it while I was in it, but I'm going to wipe this game from my memory very, very soon. But yeah, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Look out for the reaction to Kings versus Mavericks. And of course, we are going to be doing an outright recap, going through everything that happened in this game in a more detail-oriented way over on my Rusty Buckets channel. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. Peace.